Hello, this is Pete. Welcome to the EmpowerCast iWork series, Keynote for Beginners. This is episode 6, Working with Images. I've got my Keynote theme chooser here. I'm just going to choose the black theme, choose a slide size of 1280 by 720, click Choose. As you've seen in previous episodes, I'll change the zoom to fit in window so I can see the entire slide. And then we'll take a look at working with images within each slide. For the sake of the EmpowerCast Keynote Beginner Series, I'm going to treat images and photos differently. So for images, we're going to look at the various ways you can get images into your Keynote project and put them on your canvas. So one of my favorite methods for fetching images from the web is just to use the Safari browser. So I'll click Open Safari. And using the Google search box in the upper right-hand corner, I'm just going to type in Pepsi, because we'll do a demonstration with logos of Pepsi versus Coke. So when I type in Pepsi, I get 23 million websites that have to do with Pepsi. But what I want are the images. So in the upper left-hand corner, I've got a link that says images. I can click that, and that'll take me to a series of thumbnail images that you can see have to do with Pepsi. Now, if I were to just click one of these thumbnail images and drag it over to the Keynote canvas, you can see that method works, but that thumbnail image is just that, a thumbnail. So if I try to make it any larger, you can see it becomes pixelated and doesn't look great. If I want the larger version of the image, and I can see that there is a larger version available and the dimensions are here, I can just click on the actual thumbnail to bring up the full version. If it doesn't immediately bring up the full version, I can see full-size image with this link here at the top. So I'll take that full-size image and drag that over to my Keynote canvas, and you can see the immediate difference in quality between the thumbnail that was stretched and the original size. So I'll get rid of the small thumbnail. There, so we have this Pepsi logo here, and the idea is for it to look good against our black background. We'd like to probably get the white background or border out of there. So in order to eliminate the background, I'm going to use the Instant Alpha tool. And the Instant Alpha tool can be found under the Format menu. Just click Instant Alpha. With Instant Alpha, you use your crosshair to click and drag inside of a certain color that you want to eliminate. So in this case, we want to eliminate the white background. So I'm going to click and drag in the white. The larger I make my Instant Alpha circle, the more strength Instant Alpha will apply to eliminating that color. I have to be careful though, because I don't want to eliminate the white in the middle of the logo. And if you look closely, there is a small color break there. So I really want to preserve that color break. So while I'm dragging, I'm going to watch the effect on my image. You see the larger or smaller I make my little Instant Alpha circle, the more concentrated the color elimination becomes. So as I make that circle larger and larger, I'm going to get just as close as I can before it starts to eliminate the center of the logo. Now I can hit enter to complete my changes. Now I don't like the way the logo still has the white artifact around the edge. So Instant Alpha can be applied as many times as you want to an image. So I'm going to say Format Instant Alpha again. And then I'm just going to go for that white border that got left over. Now you can see it starting to creep into the center. I don't want that, so I'm going to shrink my circle down a little bit, just to the point where it almost starts creeping into that center part. Cool, now if I hit enter, I've got this logo that really looks great against a black background. And I'll resize that and get it ready for this side of the screen. That'll be the Pepsi side. Cool, now I want to do the same thing with a Coke logo, so I'm going to go to my Google search box and punch in Coke. Remember to click Images in the upper left-hand corner. Find one that I like. I don't want to use the thumbnail. I want to use the full-size version, so I'm going to click on that. Click on See Full-Size Image, and then move that over to my Keynote canvas. Same issue with the Pepsi logo. I've got some white border around here that I want to eliminate, so under Format, I choose Instant Alpha. And again, apply it multiple times to each of the 4 corners, getting rid of the white on all 4 sides. Cool, so now I have my Coca-Cola logo. I can shrink that down, set that here. Notice the grid lines, and we learned about grid lines earlier in the Keynote series, can really be helpful for me to make sure these 2 logos are the same size. So I'm going to have the top edges match up on these 2 logos, and then pull down the lower right corner until I see the bottom edge match up too. I get yellow grid lines telling me they're both 182 pixels high, and I know they're the exact same size now. Now what I've done and what I recommend to you is to start a collection of images that you might want to use or refer to later, especially after you've done some instant alpha work on them. You kind of want to keep them in a tackle box. That's what I call it. Sort of like a tackle box or a sticker book. Basically a place where you can keep all these images that you've worked on and open it up to retrieve those images later when you are looking for images of certain things. So all of the graphics and design stuff I've done over the years, that's exactly what I've done, is sort of collected them all in one place. So you can see here I have that file, and I keep them all in Keynote. I just drop the images, I paste them onto the canvas here, and you can see I have, 57 slides here, all with different images. I try to keep them organized, like this one you can see is a Christmas or holiday page. And this one's also Christmas or holiday. What I like about these is I've pasted them all in as individual pieces. So these can be copied and pasted, resized, and used in other projects that I'm doing. So I have this white background that I created, pasted it into this Keynote document, and now I just kind of use this as my catch-all for all different kinds of things. So for instance, if I want to take this and use the copy command, edit copy, and then go back over to my Coke versus Pepsi comparison, and then just use edit paste, I can stretch that out, put it down towards the bottom here, and maybe even adjust the opacity of that image so you can just kind of barely see it, and send it to the back. If I go back to my sort of tackle box of different types of images, I've got lots of different things I've saved over the years. Here's a set of images that I have saved, so I'm just going to grab one of these using the copy command, head back over to my Coke versus Pepsi project, paste it in, and now I need a can for her to hold on to. So we'll go back to Safari, grab this soda can here, drag it over to Keynote, apply my instant alpha, and shrink it down. Bring the figure to the front. And it kind of looks like she's holding a Pepsi can. Another way to work with images is to just keep them in a folder anywhere on your hard drive. And double-clicking your Macintosh HD obviously will bring up all the folders you have in your hard drive. So I have this art folder here, and it's kind of the same concept. It's various logos and things that I keep just on a folder on my hard drive in case I ever need to use them for something. Here's an iPhone. You can also access these through the media browser by clicking on media. Now here in the media browser, in the Photos tab, I've got various photos that are available in my iPhoto, Aperture, or Photo Booth library. But if I open up a Finder window and I find my favorite folder of various artwork or whatever on my hard drive, like I have this one called Art, I can drag that over into Keynote and drop it inside the media browser. So when I drop it there, you see a new addition comes up called Folders. And if I click on Art, in the media browser, all the images inside that folder are now available in my media browser, where I can click and drag them right into my Keynote presentation. So lots of different ways to work with images in Keynote, and I hope that this was useful for you in getting those images looking great in your Keynote presentation. Stay tuned for episode 7 of the EmpowerCast iWork series, Keynote for Beginners. And we'll be working with shapes in episode 7. This is Pete from EmpowerMac, and thank you for tuning in.
So show me what I'm looking for.